Good morning, everybody. I'm very happy to announce that this morning I am going to be interviewing a quite remarkable person in this very live stream in a minute. But I want to share a bit about him first. It's a man, he is called Sebastian Gronbach. He is from Austria. I have met him in person once here in Mariahoop where I live, and for the rest I know him online, and he struck me pretty much since the beginning because of like he has a coolness about him. He also has a very profound side about him, and he is quite multidimensional. Like he is a father. Has a wife. He loves to hike in the mountains. He has founded multiple ashrams, spiritual communities, and he is a guru, and that's a spiritual teacher, and he has students. But he's just like what struck me most of all is how cool he is and how present he is on social media and how fluent, and that just it struck me because these can sometimes seem like opposites, right? Like the spiritual profound side of life and the happy light social media day-to-day kind of life, and he just perfectly seems to combine the two. So I am very happy. I'm just very happy to talk with him today and to ask him some questions about his life and his function as a guru and how that works. So much for the introduction. I will now try to invite him into the live stream. Forgive me if it takes a bit. It's been a while since I've done live streaming. Where are you? I'll ask him if he's watching. I invited Sebastian to watch. Hi, Sebastian. I'm now going to see if I can invite you to join. So I just made an introduction for you. Let's see. We can make this work. Oh, no. Huh. Sebastian, is there an option that you can ask if you can participate in the live stream? So it doesn't seem like I can invite you. It seems like you have to invite yourself. Do you see any of that, Sebastian? Because I have opened the option for asking any people if they can participate in the live stream. Yeah, so it must be there. You now have an icon. No. Yeah, I have a moment. Yay, there you go. Thank you. Okay, this was a bit different than I expected. Good morning.
Good morning. Hi. I just have to clear some technical things because now I am participant in your live stream, but over my iPhone. Therefore, I need some equipment. Hast du noch so eine Nüpsel? Aber ich brauche noch eine Nüpsel. Weißt du, so eine Nüpsel möchte ich eigentlich. Okay.
With hopefully a bit less noise now.
Ja, wir bräuchten noch so einen Doppelnüpsel. Aber er guckt gerade, ob er einen hat. Und dann sind wir in, weil wir gehen jetzt übers iPhone rein, eventuell. Das geht wahrscheinlich nur das iPhone.
Brauchst du da was, wo du das hinstellen kannst, mit dem ich...
Ja, das baue ich mir.
Da darfst du mich den anderen Nüpschen nicht
Just a
mehr.
minute.
People joining.
Das ist jetzt einfach hier drauf irgendwie.
I'm gonna wave at everybody joining.
Okay.
Thank you.
I hold it in my hand. It's okay.
Yeah?
I relax.
Are you all set up?
So, can you hear me, Anke?
I hear you perfectly well, without any noise.
Oh, great. I hear you also perfectly. So, Florian, I think it's perfect. I just held it in my hand like a cup of coffee.
We have
Great
many.
to see you.
Yeah, likewise. Very, very welcome in my live stream. I'm a bit distracted because
Thank
there
you,
are
Anke.
people joining, but shouldn't be.
Okay.
Yeah, I am very honored to have you, like in a live dialogue. I just mentioned that we met once in person here in Maria Hope, which was a very, very special occasion for me. I can easily have images of what, because you're a guru, right? Yeah. So for me, it's easy to have images of what a guru. Where I knew you were, like you were walking out of it and like opening the door and we're like, "Hi, Anke, give me a hug," and something. Well, I thought like you were in that room there and doing like some kind of sacred meditation thing and like let people gather around you or something. Like it so struck me how open and welcoming you were, and also like happy to meet me, which was like very moving because I thought it, and you wanted to like have a photo. I remember you wanted to take a picture with me for Instagram, and I thought like, but you are the guru, so that it should be the other way around, So you, so it was just very striking, and you like denied, or let's say you did not tolerate the image that I have of guru. So it was very surprising, and also I was saying just what I really like about you is how like I can feel there is a profundity to you, but also how very lively and very cool also you are, and like very and hip also, like with your Adidas jackets and your tattoo, and it's like it challenges my mind, like how like it combines so many things into one person. So that yeah, you're a striking person, and I'm very happy to ask you some of my questions today. Is there anything you would like to say before I start?
Yep. First of all, something about our on the technical level, because during I am talking, I can hear now at this moment the last 15 seconds or 30 seconds from what you said to me. Now in my ear, you are still talking.
Ah, ouch.
It's a little bit strange, but I will see how we can manage this. So now I'm talking and hearing myself at the same time. So maybe I put off my ear because, so now it's better because I hear myself live and at the same time what I said 15 seconds ago. So first of all, Anke, thank you for the opportunity to talk not only to you, but also with you. And our relationship is based on something which is bigger and deeper and wilder and higher and more bright than a normal relationship. And I think this is, for myself, this is very important because our relationship based on another relationship, which is our relationship to Adida. And therefore, this dialogue is not the same dialogue or the same energy like I do it normally. And I not only respect what you do as an artist, I really love it. And so for myself, it's also a great opportunity to talk to you. And I think you can feel it that I really mean it by heart. So thank you very much. So that's only the first thing I wanted to say to you. And please excuse my English. I have to talk a little bit slowly because I have to wait that the right words in English can fall down in my mouth or evolve. So
I see.
Please, sorry for taking my time. So now, if you start to say something, I have to put these things again in my ear, and what I hear, I will hear myself and you talking at the same time. But I will try to separate these two voices, knowing that not two is peace.
Good luck.
Okay, yeah, thank you. Okay.
So you said some things about our relationship being based in something deeper. I'm quite curious what you mean by that. But I propose that we bring that towards the end, and first see if we can, because I want to know things about you and your like growing into a guru, or is that a career or some like I have some very human questions about that. I have prepared 7 by social media content that you created and that just were like popping out for me and generated a question. So the first question that I have is a tweet. It's about a tweet that you wrote on April 15th, 2019. And I'll quote it in German first, the original. You said, manchmal sage ich bin Gott. Und dann fühle ich mich frei, zufrieden, erfrischt und glücklich, so sehr, dass ich es mit allen teilen muss, wie ein erwachsener Guru. So in English, what you are saying is that sometimes you express or say that you are God, and then you feel free, satisfied, refreshed, and happy, so much so that you have to share it with everybody. So that is like quite a statement to make. I am God. Can you say something about that? Like what do you mean when you say that?
This quote, of course, is only the first part of the quote. So the second part of the quote, if I remember it right, is, and sometimes I feel like a little child, knowing nothing, knowing absolutely nothing, just being totally knowing nothing, being nothing, having nothing, and just feeling happy, like a very, very little child, not a 7 or 9-year-old child, but a 2 or 3-year-old child, and feeling like God and feeling like this child is the same energy. It's so important that we see this quote in this context. Mm-hmm. So that was so important for me to bring this quote in the idea of feeling like God and feeling like a little, very little child is the same energy, is the same state of happiness, mm-hmm. It's the same state of unknownness and not thinking. Uh-huh. So this is part of the answer. If you ask me what does it mean to feel like God, means I don't feel separate from anything else. More than that, there is no I in the sense of myself and you and the other. There's Sebastian and there's Anke and there's the nature and there are our birds. But all these Ankes and Sebastians and birds and nature evolves in the truth self. And this true self is happiness, is bright, is unknown, is timeless, spaceless, formless.
So that is.
So I totally accept and know that there is Anke and there is Sebastian, but both of them are evolving or part of a higher, deeper self, which can't be described because it is timeless, baseless, formless, its nature is that, is bright, is happiness, is a secret. So please let us see this quote, I feel like God and I feel like little child, is the same. What and this, the same is also that you have to share it. The little child and God are in the same state. They can't sit still and just be happy for themselves, because they can't feel the self. They can only feel this energy, this love, this bliss, this happiness, and they have to share it. But it is not a sharing from you to me. It's just an expression from without motivation. It's not I have to do it because I have to make the world a better place. It's not this motivation, not being a good man or doing something positive because I think the world is bad and I have to make the world a better place. It's without motivation. It's what, like I learned from Adida on Christmas, it's a little bit like Mickey Mouse, when Mickey Mouse says, "Oh man, oh boy." It's just the expression. It's somebody who isn't informed about any negative things. And the passion and the love and the expression and the perfect urgency to share it is the motivation, not a motivation from a place which thinks anything about the world. Just this pure, perfect urgency to express the self in with anybody else, and anybody else is only part of this joy. Is this joy? Is this happiness? Is this truth? So, can you dive in this in these words? Now I have to put it again in my ear and hear to you and to myself.
Yeah, I can feel into it, but it is quite like a different take or God idea than what I think many people are used to, and also like how I was raised. And I think many people in the West are raised with a very different idea of God, with an idea of God as like an all-knowing, very wise being that you can pray to and have to always trust and be surrendered to, but not like what you are describing is God like a sphere in which you say like Sebastian is and Anke is, which is just like very different from what I and many people I think here have in mind when speaking of God. You are speaking more of like a being in God, not so much as a being separate from God. Am I getting that right?
Yeah, this is because to say it in some technical words, it is God as first person singular. In these words, I describe person like from the point of first person singular, but it's also okay, totally right, to describe him or her in second person singular. Du Gott, you God. It's also possible to find yourself in a position of this you can find yourself in this position. It's like the room. You can find so many positions to talk about the room or to see a room. And talking and seeing God is possible from the first person singular, from the second person, from a we space, from a collective point of view. So God, in this quote, I described this energy from a inner point of view, which is not a point of view, but it's first person singular. I am, I am, I am, I am. And it's also possible to say you are, I'm not, you are, I'm not, you are. It's just the experience of this first person singular describing is similar to any experience you can read in the Bhagavad Gita or from the Prophet Allah or from Jesus Christ. Whoever is talking about God is able to take a first singular place. God as I amness. I am, I am, I am. Before Sebastian there was I amness. Diving in the experience that you have the feeling that you exist before your parents were, before your grandparents were. There is something which is not a thing, what you are. So you're totally right. That's not a traditional point of view and describing from God as a person sitting on a cloud and knowing everything. It's more dying in a secret and knowing absolutely nothing. And because of this nothingness, there is this happiness. Yeah.
Nothing doesn't sound like very happy.
Just give me a second. Okay, now I'm with you, Anke.
You're saying nothingness equals happiness. But it's like a bit, I find nothingness a bit scary. Like emptiness, like absence or blackness. And it does not, like nothing doesn't feel like happy to me.
Okay. We are in this room. I would like to show you the little room here. There's sitting a Buddha, and in our other room, there's sitting Krishna. And Krishna's name is the dark or the black. And it just means no form. And I think you are totally right. Maybe you're more it's more right than everybody is able to think, because nothingness scares us absolute. Because it's not able to think about nothingness. Nothingness is not an object. You can't have a relationship to nothingness. You can't have a relationship to zero. And that's the reason why I said it's dying into a secret. If you die into a secret, it's not the process of dying is not a process of, yeah, I'm dying, I'm so happy, yeah, now the contraction is, so no, it scares absolutely. So it's as scary as death could be. So I hope that nothingness scares you, because then you know you are really in contact to what what is love? Something absolute. What is no form, no time, no space. And time, space, and form must be scared if something is there which is ultimate, bigger, and than form, time, and space. So it's good to be afraid if Krishna enters the room, because we will die. The separate self will die. The contracted ego will die in his or her darkness.
So,
And if you die into the darkness is the secret. It seems like a paradox, but just from the ego point of view, that then there will be light. But like Rudolf Steiner, for example, said, if you would like to have a color for God, you have to choose dark, black. You have to choose black. And then dive into the black, die into the black, and there will be light, bright. And it feels like love, bliss, happiness. But so
are you saying the
just give me a second. I love this room you are with the candles and the beautiful symbols.
Thank you.
Cool.
You were saying the ego, the separate ego has to die. Now about into blackness, and then there will be light. Now, what I would be tempted to think, and what I know many people think, is my ego cannot die because I need it in order to function. So a lot of it can die, but not the whole thing, because I would get crossed over by a bus, because I will not be functioning like on a 3D level. So is that true according to you, or is that an error?
For myself, the best definition I ever heard and felt is about ego is the definition Adida gave us. It's ego is not an entity, but an activity. And the word dying in this context means that you realize yourself, your separate self, as an activity. So you realize it. You are, since the day you started to think, there is an activity which is the essence of this activity is to reject the love of God, of universe, of love, of bright, of the love of God. Ego is the activity of rejecting love. Ego is the activity. That's what we are always doing. At the moment when in the morning when we open the eyes, opening the eyes is starting the activity to reject love, the unconditional love of God. Being somebody, feeling to being somebody just means to be in resistance against consciousness, against love, against God. And if you realize that you are since days and weeks and months and years and decades in this stressful, painful activity of rejecting the love, what is your true self, rejecting the freedom, what
is your true self. So you are rejecting and in resistance to your own true self. If you realize this, it can be something like a shock. Oh my Lord, I am this activity. This activity is not nothing which came to me, or I am not doing this activity. I am this activity. Ego is this activity. And it's like a shock. Oh my Lord, I am this activity. And if the shock is deep enough, it can stop like this. And then, are you hearing me?
Yes.
Because my second voice is gone. It's so great. And the activity stops and you realize a higher and deeper intelligence. You realize yourself as a higher and deeper intelligence, an intelligence which creates the normal mind, which creates the intellectual minds, what creates thinking, which creates the logical mind. So the word dying is a perfect description, but there is nobody will die because there is no entity. Ego is no entity. Ego is an activity. So it only feels like dying, and from the point of activity it is like dying, but it is nothing what we have to do. It's also we have to realize, and if we realize, it stops. It's not an action anymore. It's the stopping of the action, and then the contraction, which is the result of this action, is gone.
And you can still like be sensible about your daily life and like travel safely and handle all your business. Like that doesn't stop.
Better than ever before, of course. Like a bird or a dog or even a flower is so perfectly doing his or her job. So our dog has no ego, but he absolutely knows how to walk, how to breathe, how to go from A, B, C to C, how to do whatever he wants to do. He knows how to breathe, how to sleep, how to do everything what a dog has to do. So we are the only being in the whole universe who thinks that without this contraction, you can't drive a car. That's crazy. It's against all experience. It's simply not true. It's yeah. What is your experience with this, Anke? I mean, if you are you're an artist. If you are painting, you're not scared, or you're not thinking, and whoa, does somebody loves me if I do it right, or if do they don't love me if I do it wrong? No, you're just painting.
Well, yes and no.
No?
Yes and no.
Okay.
In the activity of drawing and painting, there are these thoughts still. There are thoughts like, oh, this is too different from what I did, and this is like maybe people are not going to like it as much because they have expressed this about that, and then this is different, and like the thoughts are there, but in the drawing they feel like they are further away, and they do not feel like personal to me. So that is
Yeah.
that is a difference.
But your brain is the brain activity is the activity of producing thousands of thoughts, and ego activity is taking these thoughts and using the thoughts to create more contraction. And if there's less contraction or no contraction, the thoughts are still there, but there is nobody or nothing which uses the thoughts to create more pain or more contraction. Nobody's there to eat them and need them for the ego energy. So it's totally okay if there are thoughts, because there is brain. Is a brain, and the brain is producing all these voices.
So the brain producing thoughts is not ego. You are saying like
No.
the brain always, like it's a thing that the brain does.
Right.
And then even for you, like you have thoughts also.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. But
There are thoughts.
yeah.
Like if you go through the forest, there are birds. Birds are singing. Brain is producing thoughts. That's not important. I never tried to make my brain without thoughts. If my brain don't produce any thoughts anymore, I will be dead.
Oh, that is interesting, because I sometimes have periods of no mind and no thoughts, and I'm not dead.
Okay, here's my theory. My theory is that you're so in line with the stillness, with the true self, with pure energy, with Shakti, with evolutionary power, with God, that you are in a timeless, formless energy. And the brain, you are not the brain anymore. You are this or that. And the theory is that the brain is still doing all these activities. But there is literally nobody who is who is listening to these thoughts, and you are not anymore identified with somebody who has a brain. You are that. You are this. And the brain is doing his job. But you are this. You are that. You are the bride. You are still. You are the stillness. You are not Anke, who is still, but you are stillness. You are emptiness. You are fullness. You are love. You are bliss. You are happiness. And for that, it's like you can't hear the voices anymore. But the brain is producing it, like my stomach is producing now these things which are needed to how do we call it, if the procasting
Biotics?
what the stomach is doing. So but I can't feel it, but the stomach is doing all the things, the hormones, my whole body is producing something. So the brain is also, a part of the brain is producing thoughts. But this is just take it as a theory.
Okay. Very well. Second question. I saw a very, very sexy photo that you posted on Instagram.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
It was
Who
July.
was on this photo?
I don't know. I'm going to ask you now. I'm going to show it to you.
Yeah, show it to
It
me,
was
please.
July 29th, 2018. This is the picture.
Oh, this is my wife, Fidama.
I was thinking, would that be the body of his wife?
It is the body of my beloved Fidama.
I was like, holy fuck.
Why?
What a body. And then you wrote something about it, which you said, when a man and a woman feel their body as one body, they don't only open themselves for each other, but for love and for God Himself, without limitations as far as heaven goes. Free translation.
Mm-hmm.
So this struck a question in me also. I was thinking, if you are a guru, like, are you, can you have sex?
Why not?
It doesn't seem to fit. Again, this could be my image of what a guru does. I was just struck. Is your activity not to like radiate your wisdom and teach and be in meditation or in samadhi all day? I was struck. Like, are there things that you do or don't do that other people do engage in? Or do you
I'm not
or do you
Sorry.
just do everything but from a different perspective or something?
So first of all, yeah, there are some things I won't do. Maybe there are some values which are needed from my point of view to be a guru in this world. For example, if you take sex as an example, having sex with my wife is part of my life. No sex with other students or devotees or something like that. Mm-hmm. But this is not something I would declare for every guru has to do it like this. It's just because sex is so confusing for the most people, so confusing, it could be a really great thing to open your mind and to feel love and feel loved. And something. But this is all these tantric ideas, of course, are so beautiful and are totally true. But from the guru point of view, the guru is not the one who is thinking how the world could be. The guru is somebody who is together with a sangha. Guru, sangha, and dharma are belonging to each other. So being a guru means to live together with or nearby students or devotees or something like that. So I have to take care of them, and that means that I have to. Do you know the word Verzicht in English? I don't know. That you don't have you have to. Oh, the word Verzicht is so important. Why Verzicht means? Maybe there's somebody who can help us. So whatever that means, I don't do a lot of things because if I would do them, I would confuse. They so much that this would have such a negative impact. Waver. Marlene wrote it. Verzicht means waver. So this is the reason why I don't do some things like sex or other things with and to students or devotees. But when you said, aren't you in meditation? Aren't you in a deep space of just sharing love or consciousness? Why are you having sex, or why are you having something like a normal life? But from an enlightened point of view, there are no such things than normal life and spiritual life and more spiritual life or less spiritual. Please tell me one thing in this world which is less or more spirit, which is less or more God, which is less or more love. And you said it all right already. It's only the way you do it. Are we living our life, eating, praying, loving, having sex, hiking, sleeping, from a point of view, from one point, from a contracted, separated point of view? Or are these things are just happening? Is it evolving out of that? Is it a form of the formless? Is it a happy time out of the formless happiness? Is it a taste which, whatever you do, has the taste of the bright, has the taste of nothingness or fullness? So, for example, I don't eat meat, I don't eat anything from animals, but that's not a value because I think it's just because I know that so much pain comes out of this way to eat, and I don't want to support pain. But having sex does not create pain or separateness. You know what I mean?
Well, it can.
Yeah, of course. That's the reason why I said I never ever will do it to and with people who uses this energy to create pain. Sex creates a powerful energy, and if there is a separate self who is doing sex, it will always using this energy to create pain. Always.
That I don't understand. You're saying if you're having sex as separate beings, it will produce pain.
Yeah, of course. Everything you do as a separate self will create pain. Of course, because the separate self, the action of contraction, will use every energy to force the activity of contraction. Everything. More energy.
But I have had a lot of unenlightened sex, and it was not painful.
Yeah. So you have you are so lucky that you are in what I called a relationship to somebody or something which is able to clarify and to help you that your daily work, whatever you do, if it is art or sex or cooking or laughing or whatever you do it in the relationship and for and with your guru. So this is so different to a normal life. You can't compare the life of somebody who is devoted to your guru or to God, totally devoted. Then everything what you do is a gift for his or her beloved guru or God or Buddha or Krishna. So this is, we call it, of course, you know the word, it's bhakti yoga. So whatever a separate self who is devoted to God is doing, he give it to God. He is doing that for or with God. So whatever God is, it will take away the ego energy and give you, let's say it in some very simple word, a positive, not a negative, a love energy, not a pain energy. And if we are committed to spirit itself, then spirit itself will always heal our actions from this energy of contraction.
I have a but.
Yeah, there's always a but. Yeah.
Yes. Because, yes, relationship to my guru has changed many things, but it's been 2.5 years. And before that, I was not in this relationship. And I did have a lot of sex, and it still wasn't painful.
So first of all, you don't know. I'm not sure, but you don't know. But the more important thing is, and I know this is maybe a not easy for understand. Maybe easy for understand for you, but not for everybody. If you start the relationship to a true guru, whatever that is, your life, what you lived before, changes at this moment. And you as Anke, you are not able to talk about your whole life without the reality that you are a devotee of beloved Adida. You can't talk anymore about any second in your whole life without knowing and feeling that. Can you, what does that do to your butt? I mean, this is a secret. I know it is not, the logical mind is not able to grab what I say, is not able to make a philosophy or a whatever out of it. It's just a secret, a mystical truth. And to be a guru only means to commit yourself and what you say to this truth that you, Anke, are not able to talk about your life, about any second, and think that there is a life. Came only 2.5 years to you. He influenced, he transformed also your life you lived before. The logical mind thinks, oh, there are two parts of my life, the life before I met him and the life after I met him, and only the life after I met him is influenced by him or her grace. But the grace does not care about time, space, and form. Love does not care about this. It eats and consumes your whole life. Your whole life. Also the life before you felt this love or you have this relationship or the commitment to the Guru. How does that feels?
I'm puzzled.
Okay.
No but.
Okay, wow. Cool.
I said that we would have an hour. It is now 11:07. I have more questions if you have the time, but if you have to move on.
Just ask your questions. We will.
There's a fly.
We will. I love it.
Okay. A tweet that you wrote on the 1st of February 2019 says, "We love Muji, we trust Muji, and we love and trust our own innocent heart."
Mm-hmm.
That made me wonder, like, as a guru, how do you relate to other gurus? Are they like colleagues or something?
First of all, the most important thing, why I said this and the context of the quote is that Moji had so many stalkers and haters and bullshitters and energies like that around him. And so there is a website which is nothing better to do than producing negative and bullshitting and stalking and talking bad against devotees and talking bad against seekers, believers, and spiritual teachers and gurus. So in this little video I posted, Moji talked about the pureness of his work. So when I wrote this, it was a declaration of I believe you, Moji. I can see the pure energy, the love from which out you are living and teaching. And in a phase and a situation where he was attacked, this was my little note to him. We are with you.
Uh-huh.
So this is the context of this quote. And yeah, what you ask me is really a question which I can't answer I'm still in a phase, still in it's still a question for myself, what you asked. What is your relationship to other gurus? So our ashram is a ashram where we honor, it is part of our daily practice to honor other gurus. It's a part of my life. So, for example, there is Andrew Cohen, and a very unknown guru in India. His name is Thakurji. And I honor them and I love them. And they are also role models. But the most important thing of all, they showed me that guru is not a job or something that you want to have or something that you are because you are enlightened. But guru is something like a function of consciousness, a function of the universe, a function of God. And you are not free to choose to be a guru or to be not a guru. It has nothing to do with with anything what I want. I submit under this consciousness. So Sebastian is a person who devotes this, submit to this function. And for example, Andrew or Thakurji, they really help me as living beings, as living gurus, and I'm able to talk to him and to travel to them and invite them to see in a human being that being a guru is what that means, and sharing the experience and sharing the ideas and sharing the secret. And so my relationship to other gurus is still something that I have to figure out what that means and why it is so important for me that I have relationships to other gurus and invite them to our ashram. I really love this idea to have 2 or 3 or 4 gurus in the ashram, and not like in the past or even in these days, being a guru means to be the boss of a tribe or the sheriff of so with their own rules and so something like that. I really like the idea of sharing being together with gurus and sharing the experience and loving each other and helping each other and yeah, something like that. And that's also the relationship to somebody like Eckhart Tolle or Dad to beloved Adida. That's something else. Yeah.
Okay. All clear. Next one.
You really have a list, Anke, right?
Yes.
Okay.
On your Facebook profile.
I love you. That's so good. On your
You,
Facebook profile.
yeah,
Yeah.
in your info section, you mentioned this a bit before. You wrote, "I have put myself under the obligation of serving and helping all feeling beings who are in search of the highest truth." What is the highest truth?
So there are two, I think, two possibilities to talk about the highest truth. One possibility is to talk about the highest truth. So now we could say some words about the highest truth. But through beloved Adida, something changed about the idea of talking. Something changed about how I talk the highest truth. Meanwhile, I nearly only talk about the highest truth if in this case Anke devotes herself or commits herself to that there's only one thing in your whole life that you want to know. What is the highest truth? And in the last 6 or 7 months, it changed again so deeply since I was there where you are now. That talking about the highest truth in any philosophical or intellectual way, I love you, Anke, but if there is a list and the question number 4, 6, or 5 is what is the highest truth, and then comes the next question, I can't answer this question in this list. If your heart says, Sebastian, I want to know the highest truth, and I will die for the answer, and I will only live the answer for the rest of my life, and whatever the answer might be, let me know the highest truth. Be the highest truth. Be together with me in the highest truth. Whatever it means, I commit my life to this question. Then I'm able to give you and to be with you in the answer. But I can't answer this question answer number 5 is, what is the highest truth? So this is my answer. The highest truth is something which is not a thing, that if you want to know it, you have to commit your life to this question. If you want to know what is God, what is love, you have to give up anything, everything, to this question, to this yearning, to this deepest yearning, to this I want to know what love is. I want to know what truth is, because I want to know myself. And this is not a question for the logical mind. It's a question for the whole body, the whole spirit, the whole soul. And so I just can feel, I give you a feeling how important this question is for me. And if I would answer this question in less than an absolute way, I would, this is not my life. I dedicated my life to this question. So if there is something less than I give also my life to this question, then I'm not able, it's not that I don't want, but I'm not able to communicate about this question, because it is not about communication, it's about communion. We have to give up our Anke and Sebastian, our I know and you don't know, our answer and question, our this separate self energy, and come and die into oneness. Yeah.
All clear.
Okay. Thank you.
On a Facebook post on June 14th was about your underground satsang tour. And it was just a very lovely photo of you hanging in a road sign.
Yeah.
I read also that on Instagram something about the adventurous life of a guru, and I was just wondering, is there any form to your day? Do days look alike, or are you like very spontaneous in a day? What does it look like a day?
I'm not really sure, but I think most of the gurus would sign what I say now. It is, if there is this, whatever that means, enlightenment, there's only the feeling of freedom, totally, absolute, radical freedom. And if God wants that you are a guru, you bring yourself in something like a prison, which is smaller than the prison you had before. The prison before was the prison of your mind. But now, as a guru, you are captured in the prison of everybody's minds. So my life is not a life in a way like I can do what you want, now I'm free. If you are enlightened, if whatever that means, that's really the state of your own. But if there's the guru function, you are a prisoner again. But it's totally absolute okay. It's overwhelming positive. It is like it is. It's just great. But it's also the truth. So my life is the form of my life has to do with my students and beloved devotees, and to serve them from morning to evening. That doesn't mean that I have to be together with them minute by minute, but even if we are in separate rooms, it's the service to the devotees, to let them feel or to bring them to love itself, to God, to the bride, to this reality. And this is, now you can think about what I have to do my puja in the evening, for example, satsang, all these things. But of course, we have some dogs, so every morning starts with I go by bike with 1 or 2 dogs in the forest, and so I have a lot of things to do what normal beings also have to do, but the main thing is to serve, and serving through being open, being openness. Being positive, but not in positive or negative, but just being positivity at itself. The reality is positivity, overwhelming, great creative positivity. Not being a sun against the moon, but being this energy, and helping them, what you described from your own, that being in stillness and in meditation and being silent doesn't mean that you have to sit in a position. Being only to be doesn't mean to sit or to be lazy. Being, only being, can take the form of laughing, running, doing sport, doing any actions is being, is stillness. Every form is formless. And the main important thing what I have to do is to cut all the ideas of what is being, what is love, what is the bright, what is the reality itself. And to live a life that everybody can see and feel. To be in meditation does not mean to take a special position or something like that. Being a guru means not that or this. God is not what we think. A guru is not what we think. It's, like you said in the beginning, living just a life where this stupid prison mind can be much more open than in a normal life. Mm-hmm. But let me just, it's not that I walk through the day and think, whoa, what can I do to represent a crazy mind? It's the transmission of reality itself. It is like it is. It happens without any ideas or there's not, whoa, what can I do to surprise them? Mm-hmm. That's crazy. I devote myself to the secret, so the secret surprise me, whatever this me is, so deeply, and I give the idea of a separate self up, that the secret itself surprises me. so this is on a, it's a 100% total normal life. There's nothing special. I'm not sure if
It does look like a nice life, like you travel and you are in the Alps, and
yeah.
it looks very pleasant from what I've seen.
Oh yeah, that's also true. It is pleasant, and we have two children, three children, and all of them are, since these days, they have finished school. I don't know the English word, Abitur, I don't know. So they are able to go to university. And for this life, from Fidelma and myself, nowadays we are able to change the way we are in the world, the way I teach. From being a teacher only in a building like this to live in separate places and different places. And but there is not a plan to live there. I get invitations from there or there, and then I go to different places. But Anke, I mean, normal life means I'm doing, it's every day, it's totally the same. It's the same reality. If it is in the Alps or at the ocean or in this ashram or wherever, it's always the same. It's reality. It's the reality itself. It's only the same. It's only God. It's every time it's God. It's God. It's that. It's the bright. And nowadays we have in our ashram is a little baby. Mm-hmm. And this baby is, from morning to evening, he's always saying one word, da, da, da. And that's my life, wherever I am. And sometimes it is a wonderful life in nice journeys and so on, but it's always da, 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 da. And he's pointing there and there and there and there and there and saying da, 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 da. So if we realize this da, it's always God. There's only God. There's only God. There's only God. Then it often happens that our life changes, and wonderful things will happen.
Wonderful.
Yes.
Last question. Again, taken from your Facebook profile on the info section.
Okay.
I saw that you worked at multiple organizations, also like Anthroposophical Society and a School for Art and Veleda. And I was wondering, did you always know that you were a guru, or did you have like a different, did you have a conventional career before that, or how does that work?
Okay. Nowadays, I know why most of the people are seekers. Most of the people, or even everybody I know, maybe I don't know your motivation, but most of the people have the motivation because they are seekers, because their is pain in their life, or they would like to know the reason why they are suffering so much, why there is so much darkness or negativity and sadness in their lives. And my life, always from childhood, there were negative experiences and death and illness and something like that. But my whole life, since I was a child, there was a deep happiness and for example, to make it clear, in my childhood, I wanted to be a soccer star, but not because I wanted to be a soccer star, but to be that I could have an interview, and then the guy from the press will ask me, how was it able that you become such a famous soccer star? And I thought, when I was 7, 8, 9, 10 years old, that could be a possibility to talk about God, love, and happiness. Not only why I became famous, but what is the deepest condition, unconditioned condition of love, bliss, and happiness. Or then I realized, oh, soccer star is not so good because maybe I got I will lost so many games, so I have to become an actor. Why? To have the possibility to be in a talk show, and then I could talk about love, God, Jesus Christ, Buddha. So the idea of being a guru was something which came in this word guru only since some years. But when I look back to my life, then I thought, oh no, I'm going to be a teacher in the school. And I studied geography and normal things, to be a normal teacher, but not to be a teacher. But when the normal teaching is finished, I could say, ladies and gentlemen, students, it's very important to know anything about Africa and Europe, but do you know that the Earth is a living planet, a being which is breathing, God in form of a perfect planet, God in form of air, water, animals, human beings. These are just form. The true nature is God. Can you feel the love? Can you feel? And I laid in my bed and said, oh yes, I'm going to be a teacher. This is the best chance to talk about God. And I didn't know that spiritual teacher or guru is that you can live a life only in talking in and which and through and as and for and about God. So this came only in the last 3, 4, 5, 6 years. And so is this an answer for your question?
Yeah, that you've always felt the urge to talk about God, but it took different shapes. And now, like, since the last, say, about 5 years, it's became like steady guru function.
Yeah, yeah. So if from the point of view, if I look back to my life, there was always this function. And then there was the so-called experience of enlightenment, which is not an experience, but let's say it was an experience. And then through a phase of difficulties and misunderstandings and so on, it evolves these clear. Now it's clear. It's not easy. But it is totally clear. I have no other opportunities.
Yeah. You feel like this is what you gotta do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
An absolute. I am not free to choose something else.
But you don't mind.
And that means freedom.
Yeah. It's not in a bad way, I understand.
No.
No.
Yeah.
Great. That were my questions.
Cool.
Thank you so much for taking more than the time that we had agreed upon. Let me see if anybody asked a question or if there's anything you want to say.
Yeah. We have deep relationship to India, and I've learned something from India about the word thank you, and about giving and taking. Thank you for, and so on. So there is a deep feeling of being grateful to talk to you and to be together with you and to answer your questions. But there is something which is deeper than thank you, Anke, and something like that. There's a deep, it's like you know and I know that you know and you know that I know. It's being in being in a love affair where there's more communication communing than communication, and I love to be together with you, so to say, in this form. And normally we say thank you for that, but it is this is also the wrong word, because if we share love, bliss, and happiness, there's nobody for saying thank you for giving and thank you for taking. There's just this Shiva Shakti process, which is honoring to the divine, and it's a present for the divine. So what we did in the last hour, it is a piece of art which we both bring to God, and in this bringing to God or to Guru, that makes us free, that brings us love and the feeling of wow. Yeah. So thank you. Yeah.
Okay. I do not.
Om Shanti and Shalom und Dankeschön. Friede sei mit dir.
Yeah. See you around.
Okay. See you around. Bye bye.
Bye bye.